attractive thinker, do not move, okay? Because we have something to share with you today. I am delighted that you decided to join us again for another episode of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance. You know, attractive thinker, I know you've had a week, you've had some days, you've had some energetic experiences, you had some things that you have not understood, and you feel like you're in a race, you're running. If you're like us, you're an attractive thinker with passion and fire, and you're driven. You're a creator. You're about carving a new generational path and breaking some cycles and patterns. And what we want to share with you today is do not quit. Keep running. Welcome my co-host, Tichet Bradshaw.
Hi, everybody. It's such an awesome day to be alive.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Welcome, guys.
You know, Tichet, I wanted to share with our audience this topic of don't quit, keep running, because as a new and aspiring entrepreneur, as someone who wants to transform their life, as someone who is living beyond a break, living beyond a success. A success is a break in something. It's a break between the old you, and meaning the you that was pursuing this success or this goal, and now the you that you are now. And I encourage you to go back and look at some of our other episodes, like one of them entitled, Who Are You Now? Who am I now? What that means is on this other side of this transformation in my life, this change, this new thing, this new information that I've gathered, the new person I'm becoming, this new level of success, who am I now? So today, when we talk about don't quit, keep running, I want you to understand, attractive thinker, when you decide to live beyond the break, everything changes. When you decide to live beyond what disappointed you, beyond what broke your heart, beyond this level of success, because as attractive thinkers, we don't stop at one level of success after we reach a goal, because we know there are more goals to be reached. And when you're walking and you're running and you're taking your, this specific pace and strategy towards living beyond the break, I want you to understand that you're not running alone. I want you to understand what the run is all about. We need to know why we are running. So Tichet, tell our audience what running beyond the break is like.
Running beyond the break is accepting who you are, taking everything that you have gone through, taking everything that you are, everything that you have inside of you, and deciding to put it to good use, to allow the power of who you are, what you're doing, your purpose, allowing that power to flow through you in order to be effective in this earth, leaving a mark, building a legacy, making sure that you're not giving up, you're not quitting, but also allowing other people to come behind you. It's really runners. We usually call them trailblazers, pathfinders, people who don't allow excuses to stop them, people who understand that they are not limited, that they are limitless, people who push beyond the limitations of their thinking, people who makes a firm decision that they are going to consistently strive to be better and better and greater. People who know that good is not good enough. Great is the place to be. We can always build a life of being good and say, yeah, I'm good. I'm feeling good. This is good. That's good. But when you are a runner, you know that good is not good enough. Great is the desired outcome. How are you feeling? I'm feeling great. I'm feeling wonderful. I'm feeling fantastic. How are you doing? I'm doing great. I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing wonderful. You're building something. You're building a legacy that speaks volumes, a legacy that you can pass down from generation to generation. One that speaks for you when you can't. You're allowing your life to be put to good use, to be purposeful, to allow others to benefit from your overflow. Running is accepting that you are a person worthy of an overflow, and you're allowing people to benefit from that overflow. Because I think I remember Ayanna Van Zant saying, you don't give out of your cup, you give out of your overflow. You're not giving out of your necessity. You're giving out of your overflow. And that makes the biggest difference when it comes to runners, because we have to continuously allow ourselves to overflow in understanding not giving out of our cup. Because when we give out of our cup, then what happens is we lower ourselves just a little bit. But when we understand that we are meant to be purposeful and powerful, and our life is meant to overflow, we know that we will always have more than enough. And when you know that we have more than enough, because we are more than enough, because we came from a God that is more than enough, we can't give up when things don't look the way that we want them to look. This is what we mean by running. You're not just walking here. You're not a snail. You're not dragging feet. You're not pulling teeth. You're not trying to pull a dead horse. These are people who are on, runners are people who are on fire, who are ready to get all that who are determined to get all that they can out of this life and even more. People who are ignited and on fire. Yeah, you might not feel ignited and on fire all the time, but when you can, you will. You make the decision that when you can, you will push beyond the limitation. You are making the decision to push beyond the break, because beyond the break is where it's at. I mean, that's like you said a few minutes ago, you said, it changes things. And that's a change that is so beneficial that you did not know you needed. You didn't know that, you needed the environment to change. You didn't know, because when you accept who you are and you begin to assess yourself and then assess everything around you, you realize that something in you has grown, that you no longer fit the equation that used to be placed on your life, rather it be from you or other people. There's some things that are just not going to be acceptable anymore. So you have to allow yourself to move. Runners are shakers and movers. We're all here for you, shakers and movers. We're running this thing together. So this video is for all you shakers and movers, you runners, you trailblazers, you pathfinders. We are uniting. We are getting our engines revving up, and we are giving power. That's who I believe the runners are, Dr. Toni. It is such an amazing to be running with people who already are on fire and ignited. You don't have to really, you can light their fire easily just by being there. Just by you being ignited lights their fire. You don't have to pull teeth. You don't have to, dig from beyond trying to get something to them. They will stand by and take your overflow without you even handing it to them. Those are runners, people that's willing.
Yes, I totally agree, Tichet. That was beautiful. You said so many incredible things that I can really glean off of and really further and go deeper with the attractive thinker community. You said allow the power. When we talk about don't quit, keep running, we're talking about allowing you have to understand and be aware that you're not doing this by yourself. You have to be aware of the power. When I talk about the power, I want you to understand something. Do an assessment over your life, your defining moments, not your entire life. Those moments that stand out, those moments where your back was against the wall, those moments where your heart broke. I want you to understand you didn't overcome that by yourself. You couldn't have. It's not humanly possible to come through some of the things that you came through in your life, and you know that. You know that you were not alone. So when we talk about don't quit, keep running, you're not running by yourself. You have to allow the power. It's one thing to run and you're running in power, but it's another thing to run and you're aware of the power. That's a whole different run. That's a whole different race. Understand, attractive thinker, that you're not alone. And the only way you're going to get to the I won't even say the end or the finish line. The only way you're going to get to the next goal, the next level, is that you don't quit. That's the only prerequisite. As long as you keep running, you're going to reach your goal. A lot of times we as attractive thinkers, it's easy to get discouraged when you don't have the right tools in place. But we have mental tools in place. We have awarenesses. We have truths that we live by. We know better. We live from a different realm, a different culture, a different community, a different kingdom, a different system. We don't do things like everybody else does them. When we're running, we're not running based on physical resources. We're not running based on what we have. We're running based on the invisible. We're running because of our perseverance. We're running because of that fire that's inside of us. We're running because we're determined and passionate. We're running after our vision. We have a vision and we saw it. You're the only one that saw it, and you're the only one that can accomplish it. And that's why we're running, because we're running so that we don't fall back into our default mode of procrastination. You have to run so you don't procrastinate, because as soon as you slow down, procrastination sets in. We're running so our default mindset won't take over, that not good enough, not worthy, not deserving, or how in the world are you going to accomplish this? We're running so that we don't get distracted. When you're running, you don't see things that you would normally see if you were walking or crawling. We're running so that we don't see the things out there that don't serve us, and they don't capture our attention. That's why we're running. That's why we're running. That's why you're running. If you start walking, you're going to slow your pace, and now you're going to start seeing things that you don't need to see while you're running for your life and running for your destiny. That's why we're running. And in order for you to keep up the pace, you have to be running with people that are running. Do you know how hard it is to run around people who are walking, or people who are not moving? Do you know how hard that is on you? How much energy you have to exert running around people that are not running? You're tripping and falling. You're hurting yourself. When you're running, your knees are up and your heel of your foot is kicking your tail. And when you're doing that around people that aren't moving, you're hurting your knees. Your knees are hitting their elbows, hitting them all in the back. You're tripping and falling. You're knocking people over. You're trying to catch them so they don't hit the ground and still run at the same time. Do you know how much energy and effort that can take? You know how many times you can get hurt running around people who are walking? And that's why we have to assess our circle and make sure we're running around people who are running. When you're running and you're not running with people who are running, you're not around people who are running, they can stunt your growth and halt your progress. They can make you second guess, well, why am I running? I mean, from where I came from, where I grew up, if somebody started running, we started running. We didn't ask questions. We just started running. You're a condition of your environment. If you see somebody running, obviously they're running for something or from something. So you ask questions later. And we used to do that. We started running. Then when we got to the place where we all stopped running, said, what we running for? What happened? You ask questions later. But when you're running, attractive thinker, running for your life, running for your legacy, running for your generation, running for your bloodline, running for your moment in time, running for your children, running for your mindset. I have clients that I work with, they exercise for mental health. Do you get that? Do you know the importance of running? The importance of having movement going on in your life? Attractive thinkers don't walk. We don't do nothing walking. We do everything running. We pick up speed. We pick up pace. When you're at an airport, people are moving fast. Successful people move fast. They don't walk. They don't crawl. They don't tiptoe. They're moving fast because we got things to do, and we understand how precious our time is, how valuable our time is. And we understand that time is ticking. The moment that you click to listen to this message, that time is gone. It's gone forever. You can't even get that back. We're in a new time right now, a new moment, a new minute. That's why we're running, because time is moving so fast, and we can accomplish a whole lot with a little bit of time when you're running. But you can only accomplish so much in a little bit of time when you're walking, when you're tiptoeing, when you're skipping, when you're crawling, or when you're not moving at all. Don't quit, keep running means that you're going to reach your goal if you don't quit. Don't quit, keep running means don't slow down and start using your time to inquire about the distractions. Don't slow down and start wondering, oh, what's that? I never saw that before. Or what did they say? What do you care about what people say when you're running for your life? That's how precious your life is. The only voice that should matter to you is the voice of God's and yours. That's the only voice that matters to you when you're running for your life. Do you know what that means? That phrase, I'm running for my life. You know how precious your life is? I had a friend coming up when we first started being entrepreneurs. I met her at an event. We were both just authors. Of course, we were both everything because we already are all that we would ever need to be. But we had started out as authors. And her business was called I Feel Like Running. That was the name of her business. I Feel Like Running. And I was hanging out with her for a while because we were collaborating and I liked her energy. And one day I was standing in my bedroom in the closet, just looking through clothes. And I heard a voice say, you're running because that's how you can accomplish more. You can accomplish as much as your potential will allow when you're walking. And I began to understand what the meaning behind her message was. I feel like running. As attractive things, when you have fire inside of you, that fire doesn't permit you to walk. That fire is a burning sensation. It's a drive. Jeremiah said, it's like fire shut up in my bones. You can't be still. That's why you're not comfortable with mediocre conversations and shooting the breeze and just going out to eat and just laughing about nothing. That's why you're not comfortable, because the fire won't allow you. That environment is not conducive for a fire, a blazing fire. When something is on fire, when something is hot, or there's a fire, or you're near a fire, it causes you to respond. You jump back or you move if you touch the fire. Come on now. Fire shut up in your bones will not allow you to sit, attractive thinker. I'm trying to help you understand who you are and help you understand what's going on in your life so you don't think something is wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. There's something happening to you. There's something going on in you that is pushing you to run. That's pushing you to create. You're like, I got to get this idea out. I got to map this out. I got to create this. That fire won't allow you to sit and have the remote in hand and just flipping channels. That fire does not, it doesn't live in that kind of realm. It can't function there. That fire will have you writing your book with another book idea in your head. That fire will have you overcoming hurdle after hurdle, whereas you turn around and you look behind you, people laying on the ground with broken ankles and broken knees, kneecaps, and reaching, trying to reach forward to the goal, the end of the race, and you're still running. You don't outran everybody because of the fire that's inside of you. So I want you to understand, when you're running, you can't quit because the fire won't stop. Back to you, Tichet.
Oh my goodness, there's so many powerful things that you said. One of the things that you brought up was what are we running? Being clear about what we are running for. These are things that we don't think about often, until somebody brings it to our attention. And I hope that she just did that for all of you runners out there that can't understand why you can't keep still. You can't understand why you're so excited. You can't understand why you can't, get comfortable in mediocre living. You're trying to make yourself comfortable, but for some reason you can't get comfortable. It's like you gotta move. You don't understand because you are meant to be a runner, but when we're mindlessly going through life, that is one thing I don't know if I've considered. What am I running for? Because your why makes the biggest difference in the world. When you have your why in place, and then you also have your goal or your desired outcome in mind, those two together will help you not quit. Because when you get to a point where you want to quit and you're going fast, when you have that goal in mind, you're saying, I'm trying to get somewhere. I have to make it through this finish line. I have to reach the end result. You know, that will keep you running. And then also having your, what are you running for? Like you said, I am running for my life. You know, you don't think about that type of stuff. I'm running for my life. We say I'm running because I want to get a house, I want to get a car, I want to get married, I want to get this, I want to get that. You know, a lot of us will say we're running to get, but it shifts when we say what we're running for. I'm running to be. I'm running to be great. And who you're running to be, everything that you wanted in that outcome will come to you automatically just by you being that type of person who is running for ... But you got to get really clear what you are running for. Are you running for your life? Or are you running away from stuff? Or are you running towards stuff, or are you running away from stuff? Because that's a difference. You know, get clear on what you are running for. And then another thing, you talked about the fire, and you said the fire causes you to respond. When I am ignited, I don't know about everybody else, I can speak for me. When I'm ignited, I gotta get up and walk. I gotta get up and do stuff. I gotta run. I'm like, me and my daughter, we be in here running back and forth because we be so inspired and ignited on the creativity that goes in my head. So she has my creativity. Well, she has her own creativity, but we both are very creative beings. So when we get these ideas, we can't just sit down on it. We be in here losing weight, running back and forth. You would think my floor is a treadmill. And then when we go outside, we can walk long ways or run long ways because we're so inspired and on fire. You cannot keep still. So if you find yourself where you're excited and amazed, and you might look around and might not see too many people that might do it, get out and run. You'll start meeting other runners. You'll start seeing other runners. When you get out there and put your feet to that pavement, you'll start seeing other runners. Another thing that you brought up is you said you don't want to fall back into the default mindset. You don't want the default mindset to take over. When you decide to run, when you are running and you have your goal in place and you have your why in place and you didn't hit that pavement and you're on fire, the faster you run, the less you're able to get caught up in the distractions. Because like you said, those, and you took the words right out of my mouth as I was thinking and you said the word distraction. Understanding what trips you up is important, because you don't have time to focus on those things that trip you up. You have to shift your focus to your goals, to your why, and keep running, and then connect with other people who also focus on their goals, focus on their why. So when that other person see you slowing down, they say, we got to get to this end. We don't have time to stop. We don't have time to, to keep being distracted by this or being distracted by that. There's a goal at hand. There's an end result at hand. We have to get there. Staying in this same place is not an option. We have to keep running. We have to keep moving, because if you keep still, if you're a runner and you keep still, you're going to snuff that fire out. And then what? And then you're going to have to start all over. You feel like you got to start over. You feel like you lost. But here's why we said don't give up, keep running. Because even if you find yourself in a place where you might be going into that place where you feel broken, or you feel like you're at your breaking point and you feel like you can't run any longer, we're saying do everything in your power to just keep moving. Eventually you'll pick up speed. Eventually you'll get back to where you want to pick up speed and run and run and run. But don't give up. I feel like failure to me is not about whether or not you tried something or experimented with something and it didn't work. Failure to me is when you quit. Failure to me is when you say, it's done deal, I'm done, I'm not doing anything else. It's failure. Because here's the thing, when you try out different businesses, different ideas, you're trying your new ministry, you're trying to write a book, you're trying to achieve your goals, your dreams and all that stuff. When you have all that stuff and you try different stuff and you might say, I started this business, but that didn't work. That's just really what it is. You started that, you put it, your 100% into it, you tried it out, it didn't work. Now you try something else. But you stay the course. You keep running. You don't quit and give up just because that one little thing might not work out. There's so much more in you, so much power in you that we can't afford to not reach our goals. We can't afford to not go towards, the greater good. We can't afford to just sit back and let life take us over. We have to take control. We have to take that power. We have to be consistent. We have to be determined that we are going to be great, not just good, great. Now, there are some people out here that is okay with good. That's okay with them. But if you're a runner, a mover, and shaker, good is not good enough. I have people in my life who they will do everything in their power to become number one. And they have that drive. They are ignited. They will go forward. They say, okay, I was number two, cool. I'm going to be number one though. I'm going to make it to the top. I'm not going to sacrifice for, not sacrifice, but I'm not going to settle for being less than what I was called to be. I'm not going to sit back and accept things that devalue or depreciate who I am. I'm not going to take part in anything that does not offer or allow me to be my best. These are people who say, okay, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to give 100%. And my best has to be great. It has to end up great. I have to reach my goals by default just by being great. So when you understand who you are, and we have a lot of different shows where we talk about this. A lot of you can go back to the episode "You Are Not Alone" and accepting who I am and who I am now. Because all that makes a difference. It all ties in together. Knowing who you are, knowing that you are a runner is a start. Because if you know you are a runner, then walking is not enough. You can walk, but you're still going to feel antsy. You're still going to want to keep going. It's not going to be enough. You're going to be like, but why do I feel that thing? Like she said, that fire. Why do I feel that? Maybe something's wrong with me for feeling the fire or wanting extra. Or you might have somebody tell you doing too much or you want extra. Yes, I am doing too much. I'm a runner. That's what runners do. We keep it moving. We're not getting weighed down by distractions. We keep moving. And so when you get understanding with what you are running for, who you are, that makes all the difference in the world. And once you get connected with that and you get that determination, like we said, where there's a will, there's a way. When you have that will, you'll make a way. You'll run if nobody else is running with you. You're going to keep running. You're not going to stop just because they stop. You're going to keep running. This is where you know you are a leader, because if nobody stands up and run, you're going to run. So you might be the one called in your family to be the runner if you've never seen anybody run before. You might be the one out of your circle that's the runner if you've never seen anybody run before. You never know how much influence you have on a person's life till you start running, and then you look and they're being blessed by what you're doing, and you're like, well, I was just being me. I was just running. I was just on fire and I was running. And that person said, you ran and this caused me to this, that, and the other. This is what I pulled forward. This is what I mean. You attract other runners. You're not going to beg and plead for this person over here to run if that's not what they want. You're going to attract other runners who's going to say, okay, just by you picking up speed, I got a little whiff of the wind and that made me run too. I'm going to take what you just did. I'm going to take that. I'm going to assess myself and I'm going to make it into something. Runners, we will make something out of nothing. We're going to keep going. We're going to get that end result. We're not going to, if I give you a cup of sugar and you're a runner, you're not going to sit it on a shelf. You're going to go and find other stuff to make with it. You're going to add some butter and some eggs and some flour and some baking powder and some cinnamon maybe, and you can make yourself some cinnamon cookies. You're going to do something with that sugar, because you know that sugar is not designed to just sit on the shelf. It's designed to be used. If you're a runner, you were created to run. You can't just sit still. Sitting still is not an option. Sitting still to a runner feels like failure. So when you sitting there judging yourself for wanting to run, and you're judging yourself because everything around you does not serve a runner, you're out of place. This is why we say assess your environment, assess who you're around, because your environment has to, it has to mirror you. It has to feed you. This is why we talk about things like Powerwall and vision boards and things like that. Because when your mind wants to shift back into the old mindset, your environment has to pull you, needs to be an environment that will pull you through, that does not allow giving up to happen. It doesn't allow it. So you have to keep running. If you feel like you're different, that's okay. Accept who you are and run. That's what I said.
I agree. I totally agree. Accept who you are and run, because accepting who you are, that was another episode that we created on our YouTube channel. Visit our YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to Beyond the Break 2020 so that you don't miss these episodes, because we're putting out content to really support you in your life beyond a break of success, beyond a break, a heartbreak, beyond a break of transformation, something that you wanted to do new in your life. Now, who am I? Now, how do I live beyond this break? The break is between who I was and who I am now, between who I was before I reached the goal, life before the goal accomplishment, and life now. When we talk about beyond the break and what you're here to accomplish, and Tichet said, why run? What are we running for? We're talking about running for your life. See, we've been given time to create a life. That's why it's called lifetime. You hear people say, how did I spend my life, or what did they accomplish in their lifetime, in their life with their time? You want to write that down in your attractive thinker notebook. In my life with my time, what did I accomplish? What am I accomplishing? Am I running? What am I running for? What am I running towards? Who am I running for? I'm running for my children, because like Tichet said, some people won't succeed in their lives until you do it first. Until you do it first. Is it fair? No. Does it feel good? No. Because we all want support. We all want to be running with people. But sometimes you have to run by yourself, because a whole nation is dependent on you to start running, just to start running, and then to keep running, and then to continue to run. Some people won't see the light until you start running, because while you're running, your light is shining. That fire is burning brighter and brighter and brighter. And then when they see that light, their light comes on, and then they start running in their own lives. You cannot imagine how important you are, attractive thinker, not just to your life and the lives of your family and friends, but the lives of people who are watching you from afar. There are people in your life hoping that you win. They're secretly hoping that you win. They're not telling you that. They may be the very people that's giving you the most opposition. But secretly inside, they're like, oh, I hope she does what she said she was going to do. That would be so beautiful. That would be a blessing to our family and our bloodline. That would be something new. That would be, oh my God, that would be a game changer. That would change everybody's perception. That would really turn the light on for us. That would give us all something to live for. I want you to think about how important you are, attractive thinker, while you're running, and why it's crucial that you don't quit. We've been given a life. We've been given time to live a life. And you want to write this down in your attractive thinker notebook. What am I spending my life for with the time that I've been given? Because you hear people say what they've accomplished, what a person has accomplished in their life. In their lifetime, they did this and they did that, and in their lifetime, and da 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 da. And oh my God, the work that they did in the world, it would take a lifetime to express it, or to describe it, or to share the effects of it, and the results that other people got from their accomplishments in a lifetime. So what are you doing with your life in the time that you have been given? Another thing you said, Tichet, was something that triggered something in me. It's easier to keep your light lit than it is to get it started. Write that down in your attractive thinker notebook. That's why you're running. Because while you're running, you're keeping your light lit. As soon as you slow down, you can slow down to the point where your light go out. And do you know how hard it is to get your light lit again? to get you started again, to ignite you again. You know when you wake up in the morning, attractive thinker, your mind starts out on default, and you know what it costs. You know what it takes to get you back in your attractive thinker energy, just so that you can function in life and accomplish some things and continue to run. It's easier to keep your light lit, keep your fire lit, than it is to get your fire started. Write that down in your attractive thinker notebook. That's why you're listening to these episodes, watching these episodes of Beyond the Break. Give yourself a fighting chance because you're keeping your fire lit. Another thing that you said that triggered something in me, Tichet, you're not trying the thing. You mentioned something about trying this and trying that. You're not trying the thing. The thing is trying you. Write that down in your attractive thinker notebook. You're not trying to accomplish the thing. The thing is pruning you, improving you, and stretching you. It's like that thing just dangling in front of you, wondering, positioning you so you can see what's really in you. Are you going to keep running? It's dangling it right in front of you. Are you going to follow the spirit? Are you going to keep following the fire? It's not, you're not trying the thing is trying you. It's testing your determination and your perseverance. You don't even know what's happening in you while you're running. You're running and you look down and you got leg muscles. You're running and you look down and your stomach is flat and you got abs. You're running and you feel your heart getting stronger, whereas you were out of breath, and now it's like smooth sailing. It's like you entered into this flow and you're running, but you don't feel that you're running because now you've entered into the ease of things, all because you did not quit. I want you to understand that, attractive thinker. Another thing that came to my mind while you were talking, to Shet, is you're not trying it, it's trying you, to see how bad you want it, to see how serious you are. And it's developing the hunger, it's developing the person that you need to be to accomplish that goal. This is what I want you to see. I want you to see a visual, because the attractive thinker movement is all about vision. I want you to get this visual. When you start out with your goal, you're not the person who already has that goal accomplished. You're becoming that person. So while you're running, you're becoming. And when you get to the point where you accomplish that goal, you've ran up to the point in your life where you are who you have been pursuing. So you're not in pursuit of being an author now, you already are. You're running at a pace. See, the race is all about you. It's not about you outrunning anybody. It's not about you competing against anybody. It's about you becoming the very best that you can be in your own life. So it's just you and you on the track, on the race. It's just you and you running. I want you to get this visual. Imagine a presence, an image way ahead of you on the track. And you can't see it. It doesn't have any shape or form, but you know it's there. And you're just running. And the more you run, the closer you get. The presence is running too. That energy, that presence, that awareness is running too. And the more you run, the closer you get to it. The more you run, the more you're developing. The more you run, the stronger you get. The more you run, the more you transform. You're transforming in flight. You're transforming in flight. You don't even look like you did when you started running. And the more you run, the more you're shedding off things and you're letting go of things, and things that used to matter don't matter anymore. The more you run, your shirt is falling and your shoes are falling and your clothes are transforming and your body is changing. And by the time you catch up with that presence, you have become who you have been running for. And you're not who you were when you started. That's why you don't quit. Because when you quit, you're not quitting the race, you're quitting on you. Attractive thinker, back to you, Tichet, because I have a lot to say about this.
That is so good. And you know, when you are becoming, when you are running and you're becoming, the thing is it's been in you all this time. You have always been equipped for this. You have always had this in you. So that outcome you're looking for, that thing you're wanting to experience, it's been in you all this time, but experience is what brings it out. So that thing you said is trying you, it brings it out. It
Yes.
serves a purpose. This is why we say all things work together for
Yes.
good, you know, because it does. It really does for you. You're absolutely right. It's so amazing that, you know, we really get to the opportunity to see
Yeah.
beyond the pain, beyond the hurdles, beyond it, so that we can keep running. We get to see and push past all of that, you know. And then when you're on that track, like you said, that image, that spirit
Present.
that's running
Yes.
with you, you know, that presence that's running with you. When you're on that track and you're running so fast, we don't have time for competition. We don't have time to be comparing ourselves with apples and oranges. We don't have time for that. We talked about that previously, about what happens when you are comparing yourself. You're running with you're running for yourself. You're running, you are your greatest competition, basically. You're trying, in order to be great, you're just trying to outdo the last thing you did. You know, in other words, if I did this good, this time I'm going to do it great. You know how you might play some type of game, or you might do something where you try to beat your own high score. You are your competition. You're becoming, you're going from good to great, you know. And so it's so amazing, all the points that you just brought out. While you're running, you are becoming. It's been in us all this time. And it
Yes.
took us to start running in order for us to see it.
Yes.
And like you said, one day you look up and all of a sudden you have these muscles. You have this life, and it's like, where did I get this? How did this? Because you didn't even see it form. The wait was long, but the work was quick.
Yes.
I love that so much, because sometimes we wait so long, but then when we make the decision to get up and run, everything we need meets us right there on the track. Everything we need meets, like we talked about ziplining, everything we need meets us right there in the air. It's right there in the middle of your decision to get up and run. It's right there in your decision to go. Soon as you make a decision, that is your start to becoming. That is your, that is your, you know how you take something and you spark it, that's your spark to becoming. Now you got to just keep going, keep going, keep going. Here's the question. What does runners say to themselves, or typically say to themselves? I know it's not a typical thing because everybody's different, but what do you believe that runners need and say to themselves that keeps them motivated, keeps them running, keeps them on fire, helps them keep going, even if it seems like everything is coming at them at once? What do you typically say, or not typically, I keep saying typically, but what do you say to yourself that keeps you in that momentum, that allows you to keep that momentum so that you can reach your ultimate goal at a good pace?
Yes. So I like that question. That is the essence and the heart of the attractive thinker movement. What we say to ourselves, and not just what we say, but the thought process, that voice, the inner. The attractive thinker movement is all about the inner and mastering it. The attractive thinker thinking in a way that attracts, that's in alignment with what your goal is, thinking in a way that attracts the resources and the right energy and the right circumstances into your life to help you reach that goal. So how you think about that process, what do you say to yourself while you're running? Let me share something with you. A running exercise period, I discovered this while I was exercising years ago. I discovered that there's an energy to it. And what I mean is, there's something powerful that happens when you begin to affirm yourself while you're exercising. You're into an extremely high level of energy, and the affirmations that you say, they get in on a deeper level. See, they even sound different. When you're affirming yourself and you're running, it sounds different when you're affirming yourself and you're laying down or walking or just standing still. There's an energy and a power, like you said earlier, Tichet, allowing the power while you're running, allowing that power to carry you, support you, keep you, sustain you, provide for you. So when you say, what do you say to yourself while you're running? You say, I'm more than a conqueror. You say, I can do this. You say, yeah, you're right. You are a leader. Yeah, you're right. You do have what it takes. While you're running, you say, you know what? You're absolutely right. That doesn't matter. While you're running, you say, nope, I don't accept that thought. I don't want to hear that voice. Nope, that's not true for me. Not true for me. You say, yep, you know what? I haven't reached my goal yet, but it's coming. This is what you say to yourself while you're running. You're running and you encounter a hurdle or an obstacle and you say, oh my God, looks like something's in the road, and you're still running. You say, okay, come on, brain, help me out. Holy Spirit, help me out. How do I overcome this? I'm almost up on the place where it is. I don't know what it is. I don't know what I got to do to overcome it. But you have this awareness and this knowing that you're going to overcome it. It's not going to stop you from running. You might be running and fall, but because you know who you are, you get up. When you know you're a victor, victors get up. If you're running with the perception that you're a victim, anything can stop you. Anything, a screw. I've been running on the track. I've run like miles at a time and 12 laps on the track. And sometimes there's a screw on the track. And that could get stuck in my shoe. I have had the experience of a nail going through my tennis shoe. There are things on the track. You mentioned the track, Tichet. You said something about running. You said uh, as we start. That's what you said. And that did something to me when I heard that, because what that meant to me it was um, uh, as we start, the provision comes. It's not going to come until you get started. As we go, there's a story in the Bible where the blind man was healed. His sight began to come back as he went. How are you going to be in the presence of Jesus and not see? And he did what he does best for you to receive your sight. And he didn't receive his sight in his presence. He received his sight as he went. His sight became more clear and clear, because the first time Jesus touched him, he said, how do you see? He said, I see men as trees. And if you've been following the attractive thinker movement, I've said it before. If you see a man as a tree and not a man as a man, this explains why it's easy to sit at the feet of good men and get shade and get comfortable instead of gathering wisdom, because you keep seeing that man as a tree. So he knew that the man's vision, his eyesight, wasn't as developed as it needed to be, but the man did not get clarity until he went. And that's what Tichet is saying. As you start, you activate your own greatness. As you start, you activate your own provision. All of that sitting, trying to figure it out, trying to dot every I and cross every T and have your ducks lined up in a row, that is a waste of time, because that's not how attractive thinkers operate. That is not how we see things. We understand that we are the change agent. We understand that when we change, things change. When I move, things move. We understand that. So all of this sitting and trying to make things move without us moving, that's contrary energy. That's resistant energy. That's self-sabotage. We understand that we have to be running in order to make things happen. Another thing you said, Tichet, was as we start, you said running, as we start running, it was already there. It was already there the whole time, but you said everything is already on the track.
Yes.
That stood out to me. Everything is already on the track. So imagine, attractive thinker, come on, let's go there. We go inside. Imagine yourself running on a track. And when you start out, you may just have a water bottle on your hip, some tennis shoes on, a little tank top and some shorts, and a little bandana around your head for sweat, one around your wrists. That may be what you start out with. But when you get to the point where as you reach that goal, remember I talked about, and you catch up with that presence, which is really the transformation of you, you have things that you've acquired that you didn't start out with. You trust yourself more. You're more confident and courageous. You're more willing to take risks. You're more willing to run alone. You're more comfortable with being alone, because you understand the value that it brings. You understand what it took for you to transform your life, what it took for you to reach that greater version of yourself, what it took for you to reach that goal. And now You have this awareness and this consciousness, and you don't try to drag everybody with you. When you're trying to get people to run with you that aren't running, you're dragging them, you're carrying them on your neck, you got them by the arm, you're pulling, you're stepping over top of them. Now you're comfortable with running. You just let them go. You don't want to run, that's cool. I'm running. I'll see you later. Or I might not ever see you on this track again. But I'm running for my life. And you're okay with it. And what stood out to me, Tichet, when you said track, everything is already on the track. As you continue to run, when you're transforming to the place where as you need something else, you are encountering it along the way. And sometimes my sons play video games all the time. Sometimes I stand in there and watch, because the video games they're playing aren't the video games I used to play, and the platform does something to my balance. I said, how do y'all look at all of this stuff moving and shaking all at one time and not get dizzy? So it does something to my balance, because I'm watching them. And I see how while they're going through the tunnels and over the hills and the valleys and going in and out of houses and rooms, they're picking up stuff along the way. And they're getting rewarded for it. 200 points, 500 points, a bonus, 1,000, 10,000 points, and they get new lives. You got an extra life because you reached this level. I want you to understand that, attractive thinker, as you continue to run on your track. Not nobody else's track. Don't be looking on somebody else's track and see what they're doing, because you're getting what you need to transform your life on your track. And the more you run, the more you gather along the way. Everything that you need is on your track. So there is no competition and no comparison. Don't be peeping on somebody else's track, because they don't have what you need. What you need is on your track. It's in your race. It's in your feet. It's in your running. And all you have to do is don't quit. Keep running. Back to you, Tichet.
Don't quit, keep running. What you acquired along the way. This is what we talk about when we talk about gems. When we talk about, I think a couple episodes back, we talked about going back into, I think we talked about the fire, going back and getting the stuff that is valuable, not leaving your values behind. You do gain stuff along the way. Like you said, trust in yourself. You believe more that you are capable, that you can do this. You might meet a couple of people along the way that had to offer some wisdom and some insight. You're a little more open-minded. You're a little, you're seeking more. You're stronger in your spirit. You're more willing. So you're not just using an excuse, like you said, with the screw in your foot. A lot of people who are not runners would take that screw. It don't even have to be in your shoe. It will be on the track, and they'll say, well, I can't because that screw might get in my foot. When you are a runner, there's no excuse in the world that will be good enough to allow you to quit. There's no excuse. What are you running for? Like we keep saying over and over again, getting your gems. Who are you becoming in the process? When we get to that point of where we want to be, and here's the thing, even when we get to where we want to be, because we're evolving, we're going to continue to grow and grow and grow. So there's always going to be a new point of interest for us. There's always going to be another destination in mind for us, because just when you think you know yourself, yet the situation causes you to grow a little bit more. Just when you think, yeah, I got it, I made it, there's something else right up there. It's like, I didn't get that. So it makes you want to go more, because a runner going to keep running until he can't run no more. You're going to keep running. It is in you. It is a part of you. You're going to find something to run for when you are a runner. But what you acquire along the way, and when you get to that destination, you can't take it for granted, because you know what you had to go through in order to get there. Now, the thing about it, some of us will get to a specific destination, or we might achieve a specific outcome, and there might be people who might look and say, oh, you might have had it easy, or you don't understand where I come from, or you don't understand what I'm going through. No, we understand clearly what you're going through. We just did not allow those excuses to stop us from running. No, this was not easy. This whole run, it was not easy. We were just more determined. We allow our goals and our whys to take priority over the pain of it. We allow, the reason why we're running to be more important than the reason why we should stop. And that's the thing. When what you are running for or where you're going becomes more of a priority, when you becoming your best and you're becoming great becomes more important, becomes a priority over anything that will even remotely say to stop, to quit, to slow down, to back up, to, anything. You will reach your destination when that becomes your priority. So it is about prioritizing your thought. Another thing you talked about too was basically affirmations. When I asked you, what do you say to yourself? Basically, you describe affirmations. It is important when you are running to have these affirmations in place. You are going to need it. It is like water to your spirit. When you're out there running, you have to quench that thirst. You have to have those words in place to say to yourself when you find yourself getting mentally, spiritually dehydrated. You have to have those words that will perk up the thirst, but then quench it. So those affirmations in place really makes a big difference in the words, because these are not just words you're speaking. This is power you're carrying with you. This is things you should not take for granted. Your words is never something you should take for granted, because as I've said in previous episodes, one of the things I've learned is your words will go into your future and pull you through your process, especially if you connect and believe in it. So if you believe that you can be great and you can achieve all that you can achieve, and you're using affirmations that says that, and you believe it, that power ignites and pull you through that process of you being great. So it is so important to have those affirmations in place. Another thing I wanted to say is we have to get used to celebrating the little rewards along the way. I know a lot of us have a destination in place, and so we might look at where we are now. So let's say you started out here, but you wish to be here, and maybe you are here now. So you're not here where you were, you're not quite here where you want to be, but you're here. We need to celebrate this. We need to say, not take this for granted. I always say time is moments set aside for a life experience. I'll say that again. Time. It is moments set aside for that life experience. So where you are in this moment, celebrate that, because it's not where you used to be. But the experience caused you to grow and learn, and caused you to be able to see this more clearly. It caused you to say, okay, well, yeah, I can reach this because I made it this far. I can't go back. There's nothing waiting back here. As long as you got all of your stuff, you don't have to keep going back for the pain. If you have to go back, it has to be for the treasure and the treasure only, but you don't stay back there. You keep it moving. You get whatever you need to get, and you keep it moving. A lot of us are taking these baggages with us, unnecessary baggage. Go through what you are carrying on you to determine if this is something you need to take with you, because you don't have to keep taking the memory of the pain over and over again. What did that pain teach you? That's what you take with you. You don't have to hoard every little detail that you went through. You just need the good, the important stuff, the parts that matter. And I say this, I say God, he looks at your life, and every detail of your life matters. The light and the dark, all of it matters. The contrast of your life, all of that matters. When painting a bigger picture, every little detail of that picture matters. Every hair on your head matters. It all matters. So when you're going through life, yes, those details matter. But just because those details matter don't mean you have to carry all that with you. There's certain things you have to carry. You have to make sure that when you're going running, you have to make sure that you have in your bag your affirmations, those things that you say to yourself, those things that'll quench your thirst. You have to have some wisdom. If you don't have wisdom, seek after it with everything that you have. Seek after it. And all that get understanding, please, because people will perish for lack of knowledge. And That's because when you know better, you do better, you choose better, you be better, you get better results. And that's what we want. We want to be better.
Yeah.
So we're always learning, we're always gaining that wisdom. You want to have specific things in your power pack. I'm not gonna call it a backpack because we're not backtracking and going back there no way. We have a power pack. You have the things that are required for you to move forward. This does not mean you can take everybody with you. This does not mean you can take everything you want on with you. There's some clothes that fit you down here that might not fit you when you up here. Why are we being frustrated, still trying to fit into that same routine, trying to fit into that same equation, trying to fit into that same relationship, that same home, that same business, that same thing that's not even serving you, don't even fit you anymore? Allow yourself to grow, and then take the things that match your growth, that allows you to have more growth, because you don't want to stunt your growth trying to stay in the same place over and over again after it expired. You're not going to keep drinking milk once it expired. That's not a good experience. So I don't know about you, but I've had expired milk before. It is not something that I would ever desire. So when something is expired and you know that, allow it to expire, but don't allow yourself to expire trying to maintain something that you should have let go a long time ago. So when you are running in your power pack, there are specific things you take. Like we talked about with the fire, with the house being on fire and getting your stuff. You can't take the whole house out of your house with you. You grab the most important stuff. You grab the stuff that is irreplaceable, the stuff that is of value. You grab stuff that you can build off of later. You can't take it. If your house is on fire, what good is it to grab the couch? There's some things you have to replace. There's some things that you can't take out to do it with you. You'll burn up trying to take everything with you. So for me, what that means for me is I've had a lot of experiences in life. I can tell you some stories for days on end. And a lot of those stories have a lot of joy and pain. It has a lot of different things that I've gone through, different things that I've overcome, different things that have set me back. I can tell you stories for days. But in telling those stories, we have to be careful to make sure we're not causing us to keep reliving that pain over and over again. What is the purpose of your story? What are you telling it for? What, like we say, what are you running for? What are you doing this for? You want to be intentional. Live a life of intention. Be intentional all the way. When you're running, what are you running for? When you're telling your story, what are you telling it for? When you're grabbing stuff, what are you actually grabbing? Be intentional, because you can't do everything. You will set yourself back trying to hold on to everything. Oh, my mother said I couldn't do this, and I didn't do well at a job, so I can't build a business. Or maybe I failed in third grade, so I didn't think that I could be anything successful. Maybe I'm not smart. You don't hold on to that stuff. You keep proving yourself to yourself over and over again. You have nothing to prove to nobody else. Nothing to prove to nobody else, because who's qualified to judge you? Anybody that's judging you in your life for any experience you have, for that time you spent on this earth, those moments set aside for a life experience. Who is qualified to say whether or not you made it, you're successful, whether you can do it or not? Who's qualified? And what makes them more qualified than your opinion of yourself? Because the opinion of yourself is what matters. Your opinion of yourself is what matters. So when anybody come and tell you something, it should be confirmation. So Dr. Toni, when I come and say, okay, you're a trailblazer and you're a pathfinder, I'm not telling you nothing new. You knew this. This has been in you for forever. I am just confirming that this is what it is. I'm causing you to think of it in that moment. I'm not telling you anything you didn't know. You know you're a trailblazer and pathfinder. This is why you're here. And if you have watched this show this long, you are a pathfinder and a trailblazer, a truth seeker, a runner, a mover, and a shaker. We're not telling you anything new. You sensed it. You see it. We don't ignore the signs. We don't ignore the fire. We allow it to cause us to grow, to come out, and allow us to be as powerful as we can be, leaving marks on this earth. When we are done with the moment set aside for the life experience, we want people to look over our life and say, man, she made such a huge mark in this earth. Dr. Toni used to say, and when we used to do mastermind experiences, used to say, one of the things you used to say is I wanted to create things that speak when I no longer can, but you used to say, you will not stand in my funeral talked about she cooked a great meal. You used to say that so much. I do not want you to stand at my funeral and say, oh, but her food was great. There's so much more to me than my food was great. And I wanted to bring that out because what we're running for, we have to get really clear. And one of the exercises that you have that you had us do at the mastermind was to write our obituary. And in writing our obituary, we got to determine or got clear on what we've accomplished so far and what we intend on accomplishing. It made us answer questions. What do you want to be known for? You're running, but you're running for a purpose. You're not running just to be running. Because if you're running and you don't know your purpose, you don't know your goal, you don't know, you're going to get tired really quickly. So you have to get clear on where you are going and get clear on what you are running for. Even when you can't see where you're going, your why will carry you. Your why is strong enough to hold you up while you're going. I'm running for my children. I'm running for my life. I'm running so that, you see people protesting, they're walking miles and miles for a purpose. They're not walking just to be walking. They're out there for a purpose. So when you get caught up in a purpose, it's hard to get caught up in the pain. It's hard to get caught up in all the time that it takes to get there. The many miles you had to run when you have a purpose. When you have the end result in mind, you're not caught up on every step you take. Getting caught up on every step you take can be a hindrance. I will say, get caught up in the step you take when you want to celebrate the steps that you've taken. The fact that you have taken steps deserves a celebration. But when you get caught up in every little detail and every little step that you take, it could cause you to backtrack, get distracted. You say, oh, I skipped a step over here. Maybe I should go back and take that step. You want to be purposeful and intentional. And that is key. So you said a lot of wonderful things, but going back and getting our gems is so important and a priority. My peace of mind is my priority, making sure that I have, those affirmations and things in place is a priority if I'm going to run, because that's going to keep me going. So back to you, Dr. Toni. Awesome.
Wonderful. Again, so many things you said that triggered me. When you get caught up in your purpose, it's hard to get caught up in your pain. So if you're caught up in your pain, attractive thinker, you got to check your purpose. Go back and revisit the purpose. The purpose should be strong enough and authentic enough and in alignment with who you really are enough so that it numbs the pain. I want you to understand that your purpose can numb your pain. Your purpose can numb what you have to go through to get to that end result. Your purpose can numb the effects of that journey. That's how powerful understanding your purpose is. That's how powerful getting clarity on your purpose is, because it's everything. It will shield you and protect you and cushion you and buffer you from what you have to go through in order to get to that purpose. So that was a powerful statement, Tichet. Your purpose. Your purpose. I'm going to say it like you said it. When you get caught up in a purpose, it's hard to get caught up in the pain. You should write that down in your attractive thinker notebook. Attractive thinkers, some things are taught and some things are caught. Did you catch that? When you're wrapped up in your purpose, it's hard to, when you're caught up in your purpose, it's hard to be caught up in your pain. So don't be talking to me about how bad it hurts. My question to you was, how serious is your purpose? How anchored are you? How caught up are you in your purpose? Because when you're caught up and wrapped up in your purpose, you don't feel the effects of the pain. You don't feel all of that. So think about that. That is so beautiful and well said, Tichet. It helps us as attractive thinkers to get crystal clear. That's how important it is. Why it's so important and crucial and critical to get clear on your purpose, because your purpose will help you. Your purpose will diminish some of the things that's bothering you, some of the things that's distracting you. When you have your purpose, they just fall away. They just disappear. They just go on about their business because you're focusing on your purpose and not your pain. Something else you said, Tichet, that really triggered another thought in me. As you continue to run, you will always find something to run for. That's what you said. As you
Mhm.
continue to run, you will always find something to run for. So you're running and running and running, and you accomplish that goal. And because you ran and were developed and transformed in process, remember, by the time you accomplish that goal, you're a totally new person. So that new person has its own sets of goals and things that it wants to accomplish that never even
Yes.
crossed your mind when you started. You done ran into another purpose for your life. You know, we could go on and on with this, but I trust that we shared enough that you walk away from this episode wealthy and rich and full and well fed and satisfied and fortified, and you have what you need to keep on running. I want you to stay connected to Beyond the Break 2020. Subscribe to our YouTube channel because it is essential. Like Tichet said, what do you say to yourself while you're running? What you say to yourself is what we share on Beyond the Break 2020. That's what you say while you're running. Say, I'm beyond the break 2020. I'm beyond the break 2020 while you're running. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel, subscribe, share it. Share these golden nuggets with your circle of family and friends and business associates because they're running too. You never know who's running until they see you running. Think about that. And they say, oh my God, you turn around and all these people are running behind you. You didn't even know they were running. But they started because you started running. Visit our website. I want you to book a clarity session. When you visit the attractivethinker.guru, click on the mentoring link and scroll down and book your clarity session. When you get crystal clear on your purpose and get caught up in your purpose, you're not caught up in your pain. Tichet, tell our audience how they can get in touch with you.
Yes, you can reach me on my website at www.visualencouragement.com. We provide mental support for people who's dealing with depression that desires to lift the heaviness so that they can create a new vision for themselves. Imagine a new vision for themselves. It is so amazing. Go to my contact us page, put in your information. Please let me know how I can ignite you, uplift you, and encourage you so that you can live a life of fulfillment and keep running with power. Again, my website is www.visualencouragement.com. See you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tichet, for joining me today as my co-host for Beyond the Break 2020. Attractive thinkers, again, I want you to always remember this. Our life's work is to make your life better. That's it. And it is not what you're going through, it's how you're doing it. Think attractively. And we'll see you soon.